So, today we'll do a meditation on the continuity of consciousness, and just wanted to briefly explain. Um, there will be aspects of that that involve using memory and also using imagination. But when we do it, the main point isn't to develop better better recall of past events. It's not to try to develop kind of you know a prescient mind about the future. Its goal is to look for patterns. Its goal is to become more familiar how our mind with how our mind works, and to look for patterns between the parts of our lives, to look for how one mental moment influences another mental moment. So that's the goal of the meditation, is to develop an inner wisdom about how our own mind actually functions. So we'll be using memory and imagination, but ultimately its goal, its purpose is for us to have a greater insight into the ways in which moments of time have an impact on what comes after, and how what came before has an impact on now, that sort of thing. So that's the just to keep in mind that that's my intent in doing that meditation. So with that in mind, we will bring our focus first to establishing ourselves in a stable but comfortable seated position. Feet flat, back straight, torso upright. Just thinking about resting the body in a way where the body won't intrude on our concentration. Settling the body into a stable, comfortable position. Then just start to gather your concentration, kind of conserving and gathering your focus, your energy, going against the mind's normal tendency to be scattered, whatever busyness or stress you've been thinking about. We just realize that all of that, our work, everything will be there for us when we're finished. And so for now, our goal is just to keep the mind in this meditative space, not letting it move outward to distracting objects, using the breath as an anchor to hold ourselves in the present, concentrating our awareness just on the sensations that attend the rising and falling of the breath, particularly in the area around the nostrils. And when thoughts and feelings arise, we just notice them and then let them go, just releasing again and again, and coming back to the breath again and again. Not getting frustrated at the process of meditation. recognizing that our job is to notice distraction and move the mind gently back. When our mind is more calm, we'll set a virtuous motivation, recognizing that as I don't know how my mind really works, I get into all kinds of trouble, not seeing how this mental state influences my mind in one direction or another. I don't put enough effort into cultivating virtuous mental states or averting negative mental states. When I develop more insight, more wisdom, and I know more what to do, how to avert negative mental states, and how to increase my familiarity with positive mental states. I'm not doing that just for myself. I also want to do that for the benefit of other sentient beings. So it's out of a sense of love and compassion, embracing all beings, that I'm motivated to engage in this practice of looking at the mind. And then start by opening your awareness to the mind, to the river of mental events unfolding in the mind. not judging or rejecting or following, but just passively noticing, constantly changing river of thoughts and feelings and memories, daydreams. Open yourself up to watching the river of mental events in the mind. And then pick one particular mental event that arises and try to track it back, try to uncover maybe why you think you were reminded of that. Try to follow that thread as best you can back to earlier today, the moment of waking, and then going back to last night and trying to see if there were any connections between thoughts and feelings, and maybe any dreams that you had. And then looking further back over yesterday, last week, last month, this past year, just opening yourself up to looking at how the mind has changed over time, looking for any patterns in the mind over time, What are the kinds of things that come up again and again? What consequences do they have? What decisions do they give rise to? So just keep going back further and further slowly, and just notice, just watch what unfolds, trying to understand, trying to look for patterns in your mental events. Keep going back all the way to childhood, even toddlerhood, and then going back in your imagination before memory, imagining infancy, even imagining your own birth, and then even tracking consciousness back before that in the womb, trying to see where the seeds of that consciousness came from. Just open yourself up to questioning, does that river of mental events precede the coming together of the body? Just kind of explore these possibilities in your imagination. And gently bring your awareness to the present. Allow it in your imagination, allow it to move forward in time, looking at tomorrow, next week, next year, going further and further out, looking at the possibilities for your life, looking at how that river of mental moments will move forward in time. How will it change? How will it be influenced? And then, even at the time of death, does that river of mental events continue? Does it completely cease? Just explore these possibilities in your mind. Is it possible that that river moves forward, flows into a different existence? And if it does, what are the influences that are going to operate at that time? And think about the constructive patterns that you've observed over your life and make a determination to nourish and nurture and grow those constructive habits and tendencies. And also observe the tendencies that you would like to change and make a determination to reduce the influence of those sorts of tendencies and habits, and really rest your mind in a determination to use the wisdom that you've developed to both nurture and then reduce the constructive and destructive tendencies that you've observed. And then when you're ready, we'll come back together. And then we'll dedicate. So we reflect on our motivation, and we recognize that we've created positive mental seeds by engaging in virtuous effort. And now we just offer, without any clinging, we offer the seeds of that practice for the benefit of all sentient beings. You can think, may the sick, may all those who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments, whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then, may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world.